Hey guys, I'm Dave with Tech Exchange Group, and today we're going to be going over some of the parts for our extreme water cooling build that we're doing. One of the first things we're going to look at is the pumps. We are going with a dual pump setup in this loop. Due to a small mix-up, we have an opportunity today to show you the slight difference between the two variants of D5 pumps that are available on the market. There's the D5 Vario and the D5 Strong. Now, on the surface, these pumps appear to be identical. They're fairly large pumps, they're very beefy pumps, but there's one key difference. The Vario pump has a variable adjustment on the back for adjusting the speed. This is particularly handy if you are trying to run a quieter loop. So the reservoir that we're going to put these pumps into is an XSPC dual bay res. We have a mounting ring, face plates, reservoir, screws. So the installation of this is rather simple. Mounting ring unscrews the pump from its factory base. We keep the factory O-ring and we get rid of the pump ring. Now, since we have the wrong pump for our second pump, I'm not going to take this one apart and install it. I have to send this back. But we can still show you what this setup is going to look like on our reservoir. So here we have our dual bay reservoir, fill port, screw mounting holes for 5 1/4 bay, and of course our dual pump mounting locations here on the rear with, of course, an inlet and an outlet. O-ring goes in the reservoir, pump goes on the reservoir. I'm not going to fully tighten this since, well, we don't have a pump on the other side, so the unit doesn't seal. But just so that we have an idea of what this is going to look like when we install it. And there we have it. The pumps come out the back of the reservoir and fit into a dual 5 1/4 bay. We have a black and silver XSPC front plate and a silver on silver XSPC front plate. Given our build and the color theme that we're going with, I'm going to install the black faceplate, and that quite simply installs with the 4 included and 4 screws and Allen key. one of the last features of this reservoir that I want to show you. So I've gone and connected to the back here. One of the features of this reservoir is these dual LED pots, which we're using UV LEDs, and they appear to give a decent amount of glow, and one of the LEDs is mounted right in behind the opening of the window. So once we get some UV reactant coolant into the system, this should look pretty slick. The next thing that we have here today is from Koolance. It is a 24-volt dual pump controller. It's very much as the name implies. It's a controller for two pumps with a maximum output of 24 volts. We have power in for each of the pumps and power out, where we use the pump's variable speed controller. We don't hook up this side of the pump to the speed controller. This side of the pump still gets connected to a 12-volt Molex. We're just connecting the variable adjuster so that we can use these pots to control the pumps for us. Now, this controller also came with a series of pass-throughs for connecting your devices. So how this works, we have power out, which we're going to connect to the dongle. We then connect the pump and the power to the dongle. Now, this is not to be used for power in here. We still have our power in coming through here. Now, you're probably wondering, why do we have all of these wires here when we've only got a single wire driving our pump? That's because, again, like I said, this is the variable speed adjustment wire, and this is the power connector. So what they've given us here in these adapters is Koolance has allowed us to connect either a pump that has all four wires on one connection, or a pump that has dual connection, like we have here with our D5. Okay, the next thing we have is a G-Vans touchscreen 6-channel fan controller. Now, this fan controller is 6 channels, but each channel has a maximum of 30 watts per channel. So depending on the wattage usage of your fans, you can very easily connect multiple fans to a single channel, which is ultimately what we'll be doing in our build. This kit comes with a series of temperature probes, one to accompany each of the fan channels, and a series of fan header extension cables. We're just going to do a small demo of the product. We're going to take one of these temperature sensors, we're going to plug it in on the first channel. And we're going to take this fan that we have here for a demo and plug it in on the first channel. Now, when we power up the unit, we can see that immediately the fan begins spinning. We can power up the touchscreen, and fan 1 is spinning at 60%. We can increase the speed to full speed, or we can drop the fan speed down nice and slow so that the fan is barely crawling. And we can see that right now the temperature probe is currently recording 23 degrees ambient room temperature. Here we have an auto mode where the fan speed will be controlled based on the temperature threshold. We can see here that the fan is turning at 700 RPMs. If we switch back to manual, away the fan goes, ramping up to 1100 RPM. So we cut the power and down we drop. These fans have a fairly low voltage, but I don't think it's any lower than 5 volts. Oh, 3 volts seems to want to get the fan spinning. Just around 600 RPM. This screen has a couple of dimming options. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. This build is just getting started. Stay tuned for lots more still to come.